So I thought I would be recording regularly and uploading regularly to my channel and get that ball rolling. And a week or so, or sometime, it's hard to keep track of time these days, I'm sure you know what I mean. It all just goes past so quickly. So maybe the last week or so, I just haven't found, I don't know if you listening out there have this problem that I'm having. I suppose it's a problem, is focus, is being able to, sit down and focus on something, especially during the middle of the day. Not even in the evening. It's like I think about uploading my channel, uploading videos, because I've made like 2 or 3 recordings that I still got to kind of not edit, but just put onto that's also, I'm using a trial version of the editing software, video editing software, and that's got to expire. Then I'm not going to pay for it. Then I got to find something else, or maybe like a code or a password or something or other. I'm also paying in dollars here, not rand, so it's crazily expensive, and kind of not so fair. I mean, they should, not that we live in that world, but for different countries sort of have different prices. I know that sounds crazy, it probably wouldn't work either way, but I mean, it's really, people say, oh no, it's only like, say, $99 or something like that. So, oh really, do you know what that's like for a South African? I mean, it's like 19 rand to $1. I mean, it's completely not, anyways. So I don't know why I'm talking about that, but it's just, again, the nitty-gritty of doing things. I find the nitty-gritty very, very difficult. I'm very tedious. I just don't have the focus. And it's not like I got so much going on, but again, my energy just really takes a knock. I'm not living in an environment where I'm being stimulated, that I'm being outdoors, that I'm having, enlightening conversations or inspirational conversations, or connecting to moments of, just higher connectedness and just, the bigger picture. And again, sort of that, I don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean. But just having to be dragged down and dragged through the matrix and everything else, and then just trying to hold on. Anyways, and that's what I find with people. That's what I wanted to kind of just briefly talk about through my experience and what I'm seeing, is that there is, it's almost like, the Titanic has sunk, and there are people that are in the water, so trawling around and, just, trying to keep afloat and, waving their arms around and splashing and kicking and going crazy, trying to just not die, trying to not drown. The water's freezing cold. And also, not only that, but there's like there's an undercurrent that's dragging people and, throwing them around and putting them under, and then, they manage to, under the water, they swim up for air, they get pulled down again, and it's just like, and then the people that have managed to secure themselves in a lifeboat, and I think I'm one of those people, I mean, of course, I'm getting thrashed around, as much, and my rescue boat that I'm on is rocky as hell. It's going from side to side and bumping, whatever it is. But it's like, I still feel like I'm under my own choice. I'm still, I still am consistent in who I am, and I think I still make sense to myself, and the world makes somewhat sense to the degree, just enough sense, and I don't feel that I'm at its under its influence as much or control as other people are. What I'm saying is that, like, again, it's just become the norm, where I hear stories and I see people in my own life that they just have lost themselves. They don't even realize that they've lost themselves. They don't even realize that their life is shattered and is in pieces, and they're not present. They're not even aware of what's going on. They're not really deeply, richly experiencing. And not only that, but it seems that they're just getting more and more regressed, more and more childish, more and more dumbed down, like more and more just really the dropping to lower and lower levels of awareness or sensitivity or common sense or morale. You know, it just seems that, I was thinking about it last night, and I'm often thinking about like myself and maybe one or two people, and maybe people getting better. People over time improve, people over time grow, and like with age, the experience, so that, the person who 20 years later, has developed and grown and become more consistent in themselves, become more reliable, become more honest, emotionally present. These kind of things, that they've become a better person, whatever that means. Okay? That they're not acting childishly or self-entitled or spoilt. That they are able to not get have emotional outbursts over the smallest of things. That they're more in touch what's bothering them. They're more in touch with what they need to be doing in their lives. Maybe it's they're not giving enough attention to the relationship that they have with their children. Maybe it's all very superficial. It's all just, I don't know the words for it, and you would think that they'd eventually realize, hold on, this is not serving me, and this is a facade. You would think slowly and surely over time that people, and I've got somebody in my life who I would expect also by me being in their life, that they would actually progress, not regress. I never anticipated, I thought maybe they either progress or they kind of stay the same in a way, but it's not. If you're not progressing, if you're not evolving, you are de-evolving, you are becoming a child again, you are regressing. So you're not taking on the responsibilities of taking care of yourself, of taking your life seriously. The phone you're addicted to the phone. You hide away from reality and life's problems and challenges. Your fears are getting the better of you. You don't get things done. You procrastinate. You self-sabotage because you don't feel, and there's also a family member of mine who's in his 70s. And again, he's happy to sit in front of the computer the whole day and play solitaire. That's it. And before, when he retired, when he shouldn't have at such a younger age, he was a man was he more of a conscious person then? But could he be more proud of his life then? Yes, he could be. And that's what I'm saying, is that the people that I'm talking about, they can't look in the mirror and feel proud about themselves. They don't like themselves. They don't trust themselves. They don't have faith in themselves. And so what they do is that they wake up with dread. We all do, but with absolute sadness. Most people are hiding their sadness all the time. They don't want to see that they're sad. They don't want to see that they are sad. They don't want to feel that they are sad. They don't want to feel that they are suppressing or denying, right, their call to life. They don't want to take on the responsibility to become, again, I just use these words very loosely and cliches and whatever, a better person, a more intentional person, living with intention, living not just by, again, the current of life's waters and the current themes of life, whatever politically is going on, or mass media mind control and whatever agendas are going on or something like that, that they realize that they're massively influenced by all of it. They're emotionally, living in an artificial world that's just triggering their emotions all the time. Emotions of scarcity, of, well, you need to, keep upgrading your house or your phone, or, just, again, this feeling, and they buy into it. People, I'm just talking about like if 2 people or 3 people in my life, more so, but then again, there's so many more people. But what I'm saying is that they're so much more susceptible to culture than I am, I feel. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, what is your take? You being Jewish, although you're not observant, and, you left this, a long time ago, between what's going on with Gaza and in Israel and the Palestinians and, and Israel. Like, what is your thing on that? And I said, I've got no thing on that. I haven't got a dog in that fight. I don't, But the people, I understand, to a degree, the people, when I go back to Johannesburg and I'm in the Jewish community, there's this heavy, heavy depressiveness. It's depressing. There's pictures of the hostages, everywhere. Well, now it's tamed down a bit. But for a very long time, it just feels so despairing and so depressing. And it was like with the whole, lockdown story and everything else, people were just always wanting to hear, well, how many people got sick today? How many people died today? How many, whatever. It was like this thirst for this, depressing and so that's it. So involved, that externally and having their lives, a family member of mine, my mother was saying to them, when are you going to sort of lift your spirits? You just seem you've been depressed now because of the Israel story for so long. And he replied, when Netanyahu, says I can, or something crazy or something ridiculous, Anyways, it's besides the point, not really a good example. I'm not feeling that creative right now. My creativity, imagination, and just, the ability to dance with life, or, the mystical, and to express and share and etc. is really, not doing well there. I find it hard to talk. I find it hard to connect. But that's also because of a certain individual in my life that I've put a lot of hope and faith in and trust in, and an emotional investment in, financial investment in. That a lot of my life, and again, I know I haven't shared with you what's happened the last 2 years or so, but there's been a big change for me, a big unexpected change, And I've been put in a very, very tough position, one of the toughest positions of my life, which I'm just nervous to kind of get into and talk to. It's a very, very hard thing for me, this. It's a very hard thing to come to the reality of it and what I've been going through and what I am going through. It's very, very difficult. And that's kind of where I'm talking about, I'm talking about this person in particular, then also others in my life that I see, family members of mine. They got to keep on, like, just getting into more debt, having to run, kilometers and by miles and push themselves all the time, and then join the New York Marathon, and then join the London Marathon, and then people got to know that they're doing this, and it's like, but they're tired in their life. They've pulled hamstrings, their feet are broken, they're just down and out, they whatever, but they're so busy, but it's like, I've got to keep on performing. My father, in that way, he pushes himself like tremendously, because he's got to prove to himself that he's still young. I don't say that in disrespect, but it's heartbreaking. I mean, not so much for me, because I'm not really involved. Some people I've accepted where they are holding and their level of abilities and, whatever it is, and some, like, I made peace with it. Let's say for my father, it's like I don't have a relationship with him, and that's okay, but I'm not like, oh, Dad, I hope you're well, and Dad, like, I'm just not. I mean, I hope he's well, I mean, obviously, but I haven't got any emotional investment in him, really, and I'm not angry with him. It would have been nice if we could have had more of a relationship, but, again, he hasn't really tried to not have a relationship with me, but relationship with himself, relationship with other people. Most people are like that. They haven't really tried on what's really important and what's really nourishing for their soul. Again, they've been so misdirected, and they keep on doing it to themselves over and over and over again. It's just self-sabotage on a planetary level that the world has never ever seen before. And so that's what I'm saying, is that, people are just hanging themselves, slowly putting that noose around their own necks, and they can't help it. That's what I'm saying. They can't help it. But people like myself and you, we're not doing that. I don't think so. I'm not doing that. Well, I try. I'm sure I'm doing it in some ways I'm unconscious of, but at least I'm balancing it out in some way or another with the things that just the person I'm trying to become, for my own saving grace, try and, again, keep steady on this lifeboat, which I'm more than welcome anybody to climb on board if they're willing to. But again, what that takes and what's required, and are the people capable? Because they just think, because everything in their life, that they think that they can, everything is easily achieved. People are like instant gratification, easily to achieve. Person in my life, and they feel like, oh, well, I've been working on myself, I've been doing a bit of meditation and journaling, so therefore, boom, I'm so much better on, wishful thinking, and really I'm more grounded, and I'm more mature, and I'm more responsible, and I have a better relationship with myself and others, and and overnight. And then when they realize, hold on, I'm not, or I'm feeling shitty about myself again, or I did self-sabotage, and I did this, and I did that, and I just really feel crappy about myself, or I lost my temper, but then why? I don't understand. I've been working, and I say, well, how long have you been working on yourself for? It's, let's just say, there's no timeline or whatever it is, but, say, you lived a life for 38 years in one direction, and now you're trying to turn that around. It's not going to happen within 6 months or a year. Radical change can happen, but it takes a very long time. And it's a huge, huge commitment, and it's a huge, huge sacrifice. It's huge. Most people do not have the availability to do so, the luxury to do so, the time to do so, the courage to do so, the know-how to do so. They don't know. Also, they weren't born with the skills. I was born with the skills innate within me. I was very blessed. Maybe I'm an old soul and I've earned it from previous lifetimes or something like that. But I was able to lift myself up by myself. And I've been able to hold the space since. And I see people that I even give in, and I'm in their life, and I try to assist, and I'm there daily and everything like that, with all the help in the world, they still choose no. They still cannot do it. They still can't get over their own self-doubt you know, or try and love themselves, whatever that means, you know. Again, take the path of least resistance. I see it all the time. So this is a lifelong work. This is a huge dedication. This is a huge commitment. The odds are not in our favor. They are not. They really aren't. And that's why like the self-help and the new age come along. And, you know, there's a notion that, you know, just really, you know, 5 rules or, you know, Course in Miracles. And if you're reading these books and, you know, the types of which, no, Kitty, sorry, come outside. No, I can't pet you now. No, sorry. I'm busy talking. I have to close the door. She'll feel like upset with me, but she can't be controlled by the cat. She just wants attention, you know, understandable. She just wants love. And she's willing to take it on, you know, like a dog is willing to give you all the love that he has or she has. They will envelop you in their love, even though you've hurt them at times and you shouted at them. They so easily forgive, and they just love you. You know, they really, really do. And as human beings, we struggle to have that kind of affection or devotion to another. We've been hurt, I understand. We don't have the confidence about it, but that's what makes animals special and a dog special. You know, not so much cats. I don't know. Cats have their own story. So sorry, what am I saying? That the path of least resistance, and then fall into very kind of, you know, new agey, be yourself because everyone else is taken, or there is no self, you know, Muji type of stuff. And I mean, it's dime a dozen and all these people. And again, I still see, like, I don't really go on YouTube, but sometimes it will be suggested to me and I'll check out one of these sort of neo-Advaita people. What's it called again? I don't know, whatever it is. The no self type of nonsense. Real sheer nonsense. And because, you know, I was maybe watching these videos, I don't know, 5 years ago. Now I see the guy and I click on the video, it's like he's saying the same thing. And there's such a forced smile, like, oh, I'm so at peace. Such this forced, sort of just in this vacant, vapid, I don't know if that's the word, but like look in their eyes of where they just sort of zoned out type of thing. And I don't see any warmth there. I just see it's cold. I just see it's desolate. I just see it's miserable. It's like if I come to you and I'm having an emotional time or I'm having a heartache, you know, you'll just say, observe the heartache because it's not who you are. It's transient. So, you know, no worries, bro. I mean, I'm obviously playing it down a bit, but again, so people fall into these ways, you know, and they think that they're doing the work, whatever that means. No. But again, if one is not going into their shame, they're not going into their misery, they're not going into their pain, they're not going into their heartache, they're not going into their self-doubt, you know. They're not going into, if they feel that they have a purpose here, that's more than just paying bills and, you know, taking care of a family. And because that's a lot of people do. You know, that's what the society tells us. It's like if you have a job and you're married and you have kids and you're taking care of them and everything and your kids are going to school. I don't like the word kids, I like the word children, but your kids are going to school and everything else, and then you're good, you know. Then you've accomplished, then you're successful. There's nothing else, and you're going to church on Sundays and, you know, family Easter or whatever it is, then you're okay, then you're covered. You know, even for myself coming from Judaism, and it's like, oh man, if you're praying this and you're studying this, and then, you know, this will give you the, you know, the way of life and the mysticism and all these things, then you're covered and you're good. Doesn't even touch the surface. It's not possibly transformational, and yet they're doing it every day. I mean, again, you know, my family, my brothers, they pray 3 times a day. They go to synagogue at 6 o'clock in the morning, finish at 8 o'clock. then they go, whatever it is, and they go again in the afternoon from, say, 5 to 7. Then, and they're repeating the same thing every day, and then it's the Sabbath and the Jewish holidays, and it's like all the laws and everything else, and it's just, it's scary. It's very, very, very scary that the people convince themselves that this gives me meaning, or that their job of being, like, even if they're stuck in traffic for 45 minutes, on the way to work, or an hour, and then on the way back, it's like, well, at least I'm a dedicated worker, and to a certain degree, but maybe you should be doing something else. Again, people don't have the luxury, they don't have the time, they don't have the affordability, nor do they want to, and they're not supposed to. So let me start ending off. So what I'm saying is that it's, as I say in Afrikaans, teer mekaar. It's like one hell of a big mess. It's one hell of a big mess this world is in. I mean, it just, you know what I'm saying. It's one hell of a mess from every age group. It's just pandemonium. It's hysteria. It's chaos. It's non-identifiable as the human race anymore, as human beings used to live for thousands of years or whatever it might be. I'm not just talking about our actions, but our morals, our thinking. We have been artificially, our being has become artificial. We live in an artificial world. We live in the matrix, bruh. We live in the matrix. And so the matrix is untamed, it's wild, it's chaotic, it's out to smother you, pull you down, under the waters, toss you around, throw you around like, in the middle of the ocean, spit you out, drag you back on, spit you out onto the land, drag you back in, type of thing, and just, that's just what it does, and it's chaos. And so the person is completely dislodged from their essence, from their soul, from their truth, from their spirit. And it's chaos, and the way that they're behaving, the way that people behave nowadays, it's appalling. It's absolutely, absolutely appalling. There's very, very little morals. There's very little trust anymore. What people are prepared to do to get likes on Facebook or Instagram, what people are prepared to do their bodies. I mean, like bodybuilders and wrestlers and, weightlifters, and how they're prepared to damage their body for for just a little bit of that fame and a little bit of that recognition, and to feel like a champion. What they're prepared to do to their bodies. And even if it's a short-term thing, and then it'll be done, but they'll die doing it. They'll die doing it. They're supposed to be doing healthy and supporting their body, but they're taking all of these drugs and whatever it is in order to boost themselves up. I don't know, all these steroids and everything else, and these guys looks like a freak, and it's like still not enough for them. And they know about other people that have died with overdoses or complications or heart problems, whatever it might be. They know. The amount of food that we eat and consuming. So it's like, just sort of give yourself over to the system, sacrifice yourself. And it's scary. It's very scary. We're so suspect of one another. I mean, it's terrible. And it's gotten worse since lockdown, when that all happened. Of course, we know that. And it continues to get, and we are divided. And we are filled with propaganda. We're just filled with media and with news and with just the current events of the time, or whatever it is, What we are willing to do, and it's all so temporary, and it's all such a waste of time. But again, it's just the matrix has you, Neo. The matrix has you. And what I'm saying is that I still believe and I still feel that it's under the control of a higher force. when I see the highway and how busy it is and how crazily busy it is, look, accidents do happen. And I just think to myself, I think about these people, they and yet it works to a certain degree, yet it works. That's maybe not the best example, but it's the body for human beings and what we do to it on a daily basis, and yet a lot of the time it still works. What I'm saying is that I think a lot of it is just under the guide or under the care, to a certain degree, is strange, but of some kind of higher force, that's still in play and helping to save it from itself. Well, not save it from itself, but for some reason, I can't give an example really. But what I'm saying is, by the looks of it, it looks so out of control, and it is, and it looks so chaotic, and it is. I mean, I think they're saying now that 114 women are raped a day in South Africa. It's got the highest unemployment youth rate in the world. It's got the highest rape in the world. It's one of the highest murder capitals in the world, or murder places in the world. It's, and yet it kind of still functions in a way. People go about their stuff, and anyway, so I'm saying that it's still, I'm losing my train of thought here, but I still think that it's under still a divine influence in a sense. It's almost like, maybe it's a bad example, but like, when you go bowling, 10-pin bowling, and for kids, you can put up those railings on the side, those guard, whatever it is, so that the ball doesn't go in the gutter type of thing. And what I'm saying is that I think to some degree or another, there's an invisible gutter around most people's lives, and the story and the narrative and the unfolding from the time they wake up until the time they go to bed, to a certain degree. I don't know how it works, but it just seems that there is something of, because otherwise it would all just fall apart. There's just, I don't know how it functions. It's just absolutely crazy and bizarre on how it functions, and how the human being can still carry on under these conditions. People working in sweatshops and just absolute abject poverty, and they say that, 30 million people go to sleep hungry in South Africa. I mean, these are just what the politician figures are saying lately, so I don't know, but I mean, they'll be held accountable. I think that, I don't know how many people, I mean, it's probably like 40% of the country. But anarchy does break out, and it can break out in any minute. But it's just amazing. Like, again, I do think, you would think, well, a World War III or something like that, it's like inevitable. Firstly, I do think that's all controlled, because otherwise it should have, just like the kind of the stock markets after the whole lockdown story and whatever it is, that these things should have crashed, and they never did. So I do think that there's an evil hand that does have an influence on the direction of the world. But I'm talking on like, I don't know how to explain it. There seems to be like an oversoul, in a way, that's still keeping it together, which is much more powerful than the Matrix. Much more powerful than the Matrix. There is something. It's maybe like, also there's an intelligence within sort of mammals or something like that, this awareness. I think, what is it, like the plankton in the ocean or some kind of thing knows not to produce too much oxygen it's crazy. Like the intelligence of a seed, and the right environment, it will sprout, and it will, and it knows if that year it should let off seeds when it grows into a plant, or it needs to wait another year. There's a whole big thing on seeds. It's crazy. There's a much higher intelligence, there's a much higher involvement. But when you say, like, for myself, if God forbid one of my loved ones is, hurt and impacted by this randomness, then all my that faith and trust goes out the window. Then I'm like, nah, this is bullshit, man. This is just random chaos, and there's no divine order to it. There's no sort of support structure within it. It's just, all hell breaking loose, and Kansas has gone by whatever it is, that it's just sheer randomness, it's just sheer pain, misery. I mean, I don't know what it would be like to be in Gaza right now, or those towns and everything that's being experienced. I don't know. I mean, how many places in the world right now that I would absolutely lose my mind. I don't know how. I mean, my level of sensitivity, I just don't know how. So I got to also take credit, and say, my life sucks, man. My life, day-to-day existence is an absolute, oh my word, depressing, isolating, insulting, humiliating, belittling, salt in the wounds, just really insult to injury, just my life on many, many levels, and that's not really by my own hands. And that's what I need to endure and still hold the faith and hold the line. That's kind of what I need to do. And still try and connect with the mystery of it all. And sometimes the magic of it all when I'm in the mood. And realizing that we don't actually know that this could just be a story. If you take enough of psychedelic or something like that, or you get really high, and you see, hold on a minute, like we just seeing on a one-dimensional level. If you see it from like a fifth dimension, maybe this is just a story that's being written, and we're just characters. I mean, it's not to minimize it or something like that, but we don't actually know what we are a part of here. We just take it for granted. We have these bodies, and we have different sex, and we have all of these things, but we don't know the fundamentals of this. Maybe it's hard to explain, but like on the Matrix, you look and everything is just ones and zeros and all these this weird language, the green screen, the green text and whatever it is. It's like, that's the Matrix. So what happens if we are like all a bunch of code? And I'm not saying this in a very depressing way, I'm saying in a very loving way, divine code that's being orchestrated every day. I mean, for heaven's sakes, why not? We have an unconscious, we have an ego. Most people are making choices that they've just been conditioned to make. They behave, I mean, there's just so much that overtakes us all the time. We're not free. We're not. The ego for most people, whatever that means for ego, is in control, is manipulating, is pulling the strings. The soul, the individual person, doesn't even get a chance to breathe. You're being told by the ego all the time, do this, think like this, get that surge, take more drugs, get bigger muscles, get more likes on Facebook, get that dress, get that phone. It's all just other, we've been brainwashed. We live in this deep, profound mystery of just, we don't even know why we do the things that we do. We're conditioned by culture. We're being operated by unseen forces externally, well, not so much unseen, but internally as well. So shit gets weird, more weird than we can suppose, than we could even fathom or gather or something like that. We don't know. And we can't lose touch with the fact that, that we are some kind of code. Again, not in like a sort of binary, sort of cold-hearted something or other. I mean, like DNA. I mean, it's crazy that we just take for granted DNA running through our bodies right now, glands secreting hormones, blood, arteries, capillaries, veins, skin, organs. It's all doing its thing. Hypothalamus, frontal lobe. I mean, on that, you can, how many, crazy, all of this functioning, all of it just going on right here, right now, while I'm talking to you. Your ears are interpreting the sound of my voice, the vibrations that this microphone is picking up on, and then the speaker that's being played through to you, and it's hitting your, it's flowing through the frickin' air, and then it's hitting your eardrum, and then it's being interpreted by your brain as the vibrations, and then you know, linguistically understanding the words that I'm saying and putting meaning to them and context to them and everything else, while you're just sitting there. And at the same time, your bladder is filling up, your food is being digested, your hair is growing, your nails are growing, your mouth is salivating, or the what do you call it in your mouth? So your mouth is not so dry. All of this is going on right now. And so much more. It's not even the tip of the iceberg when you stop and think about it. Your body, your process is aging, your memories are being held intact right now, and slowly some of them are fading away. The lyrics to a song, that's still there in your mind. You don't even realize it. The names of your high school friends that are still there, that you don't even think about or you just don't even think about. But when you see them, you'll remember them. Past memories, past traumas, emotions. You're feeling emotions right now, waves of emotions. You're feeling a bit down. Next minute, you're feeling a bit up. This is all going on right now as I'm speaking, and it's like, life's boring. Let's on Netflix, type of thing. And that's how we've been cuddled and focused, and goose-stepped and whatever. And that's how we are. So we've minimized this whole mystery and this absolutely existence. We've taken away the medicines in order for us to experience it. We've replaced them with different kind of medications, which are soul-destroying, and all of those kind of things. And so this is where we are at. So you can't come and tell me, Aaron, that there is no sort of supernatural forces that are involved in our lives every single day. I can't explain it to you because I'm a part of it. I've got a monkey mind, and who says human beings could ever appreciate or understand it? We cannot. No, that's ego. We cannot. No, Daniel Dennett and Sam Harris and Christopher Hitchens, who passed away, and who's the main guy, Richard Dawkins, and all these a-holes, well, not a-holes, but you know what I mean. This is what they've chose to experience. To become so narrow-minded and so egotistical, and the audacity for somebody to say, I'm an atheist. It's the craziest of things. Agnostic, fine. Atheist, oh dude. How miserable you really are. Not because you believe in a God so you can be of great service to him and bend over backwards and all of those things, and he's the mighty creator and devote. No. Just the fact that there's a higher intelligence, that there's a supernatural power to things and happening in your life. But they don't want to take that on. They don't want to take on that where they fit in and the slot in into the randomness of everything. They don't want to. They don't have the guts to it. It's too uncontrollable. It's too, it's just too much. I have my belief. I have my dogma. This fits in nicely. Judaism, Christianity, Muslim, Buddhism. And all of the alignments. And these are the great minds. And this is how we follow it. And we're in sync. We resonate with it. We follow it to the T and everything else. And then we're good. Be like, no real personal relationship to the mystery, to the supernatural. No real humbling. Here's all the answers. Pray this many times a day. Don't mix milk and meat, and for kosher, and all of these things. Okay, I'm doing it. Great. It's ridiculous. They never touch the heart of the mystery at all. Well, not even touch the heart, but even expand into the mystery at all. Expand into the mystery at all. That's why I think one of the most important things, and I think like schools should once a week, take children to cemeteries. Without the notion of death, then life doesn't have much meaning. And we put death far, far away, far, 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 far aside. Far, far aside. So, where are you going, buddy? When they put you in that grave, when they put you in that ground, where are you going? What was your life about? How did it go? How did you tally up? So I don't care. I was just into butts and boobs, or something, or whatever. I'm just being ridiculous, Or I had a lot of friends on Facebook, or I did go to church and I did give my tithings and whatever it is, and I'm just being nonsense. It's pathetic. It's pathetic when you take the average Joe, right, from wherever it is, and you put them in a contrast to the greater mystery and the magnitude of it all, and death itself, and life before death, before birth, and the whole mystery of it, the whole, phantasm of it, whatever it might be, and you contrast it to a Kim Kardashian or a Kanye West, or just really just your average person, your next door neighbor, and you contrast these people to the infinite being, mystery, supernatural, supernova, explosion of it all, and they believe, they're under the impression that really because I drive a fancy car that I'm a fancy person, I have a smartphone that I'm smart, or that that all of this stuff. Oh shit, let me save this. Yeah, so I just got a warning, long message, and I thought, oh shit, long recording. It's going to cancel my recording, 46 minutes, whatever. Okay, so let me start ending off. But it's very hard to do, and that's the compromise. That's the sacrifice we got to make and humble ourselves to the infinite mystery. I don't have the words for it, right? The goings on in our lives, just in what we are a part of. Unplug, man, from that matrix, but I don't know how to do it. We don't know how to do it. We don't have the time. Again, it's so far gone. We are so hardwired in. And once we start microchipping ourselves and connecting up to our technology and then merging with the technology as well, that'll be it. I think it's already, well, to a large degree. I don't want to be pessimistic. There's always possibilities. There's always the unknown. But once it's complete takeover in that way, artificially AI or something like that, and we don't already know what reality is anymore. We don't know. We see each other through screens, filtered screen. And on so many levels, we're not in touch with reality whatsoever. Again, when I'm looking for a photo to upload to put with my videos, I can't find anything because it's all these HD, high res. I'm like, dude, that's so not what it looks like with the human eye. What is this? This is rubbish. These colors and everything else. It's not. It's just doctored. It's just all filtered. It's just all horrible. I can't connect with it because it's artificial. But so I try to look and I say natural photos of nature. Can't find them. Can't find HD wallpaper or something. It's like, dude, I can't. This is terrible. So I try and look for something and I can't find, because there isn't anymore. Maybe I'll come across it, and if I do, I have to go on someone's Facebook as a photographer. But even then, themselves, or old photos that they once took. Okay, great. But otherwise, it's hard to find. It's hard to find people to connect to talk to even learn from. It's hard. Anyways, so how do we do it? Some of us are just blessed to be able to do it, but I get caught in the whole thrall of things. But anyways, that's not the point. But it's sink or swim. And I'm saying again, most people are just sinking, and it is what it is. Yeah. But that's why I'm saying it's so important again to connect to higher states of consciousness. Just, stone a mind in a way. I don't smoke the green. I wish I could. I do like CBD stuff, but then I just feel a bit nauseous. Everything becomes too unfamiliar with me with the green, with the ganja. It's just too unpleasant for me. I don't like the feeling. It's hard to imagine that people do like the feeling. Maybe I'm just so removed from it and I'm unfamiliar with it, So it's like somebody gets drunk for the first time and gets sick, you'd be like, oh, this is terrible. has a cigar for the first time. Cigars are terrible, and it's an acquired taste and you get used to it, something or other. Yeah. But that high states of consciousness, that stoner mind, stoner state of being, where you stoned, not where you goofed out, but you've plugged in, tune on, tune out, and plug in. What's his name, Timothy Leary? The whole thing that he said? Yeah. And so on and so forth. But that's not what, yeah. So anyways, I think I've said what, I'm trying to end this off on a good note, but I'm not finding the thread. But I think I've done an okay job so far. Yeah. I'm only human after all, But again, I do feel it's our responsibility that we are on the cutting edge here, of whatever it is. We do hold the flame and we are responsible, and we've got big jobs to be doing, We've been called to do this and we've chosen to do this somehow or another. And so we got to keep it alive, We've got to keep ourselves in good care, we really do. And we've got to pass on the message to those that have ears still, that aren't plugged in. Well, most people are, but even if they are, still got to be some kind of example in a way of what it's like to be unplugged, and the task is a big one, and I can't afford to lose sight of that. Okay, thanks for listening.